Today's video is brought to you by SeedsNow.com.
Hey, I'm Christopher Green. This is Green Wave Radio Live. I'm just sending out our tweets, getting people to call in. In fact, looks like we already have a few in the queue. If you haven't heard already, well, then you must be living under a rock. You must literally be in a cave and hiding from the world. Boston Massacre Part Due. Part Due. 2 bombs go off yesterday at the finish line. Rocks Boston, rocks the world. And the American people are immediately set into an aggressive fear state, which is being propagandized and pitched and spun and manufactured by the mainstream media. Again, the images over and over again. Boom! The bombs go off. Bodies bloodied. The dismemberment. The guts. The gore. And you watch, the mainstream commentators and you see them and they're almost kind of like smirking like, yeah, this is good news. Let's capitalize on this good news. Very perverse, very perverse. And what I'm interested in is not capitalizing on a tragedy, but is finding the truth. And somebody that is in the vein and is a truth seeker and that has been doing this for some odd 3-4 years now. It's my passion. It's my livelihood. It's quite frankly what I care about. It's what gets me up in the morning. And when I think about this tragedy in particular, first off, my heart goes out to the victims. Goes out to the victims themselves, those that lost their lives, the family, the survivors, etc. And I don't want to beat around the bush and not drill in and pick this apart and be hard-hitting in your face, no bullshit, cut the crap out, which I do and I have done regarding this event and this tragedy. But I also want to express my deep condolences. I can't even think of a proper word to really describe how it makes me feel and just how saddened and what a sad day it is for America and it is for these victims and their families and their friends and people all around the world. My heart goes out to you, and I would encourage our audience as we sent out in tweets and we had posted over our videos yesterday as this kind of shook the planet. Please reach out to these people. I don't know what's set up, but look for something reputable and make sure it is reputable. I would encourage you to pray for these people. I would encourage you to help them in any way you can. Support them. Support Boston. Let's help, Boston rebuild. But I'm not going to beat around the bush either. I'm not going to sit here and, pander around the camera or pander around my mic and, try to play PR. I'm just not. This smells like a rotten piece of shit to me. It's got the government's hands all over it. And guess what, America? Those are bloody, bloody hands. I came to a realization a few years ago, and who knows, maybe I was late to the party. But I came to the realization where it became fundamentally apparent that everything is on the table with these psychopaths. Look, this is, I'm not going to bullshit you. This is a spiritual war. Good versus evil. I talk about it all the time. The yin and the yang. The light, righteousness versus darkness versus evil versus Satan. There is nothing that these government types won't do to achieve their agenda of total world domination, power, and control. There is not a darn thing that these people will not do. They will steal, they will murder, and it doesn't matter if it's men, women, or children. This smells to high heaven. It smells rotten. There's a bloody hand in the cookie jar. My initial instinct, my initial gut reaction, and when I posted the video yesterday, I had really not even delved into the specifics of the event. Because I am so in tune with the pulse of this administration's and President Barack Obama's and the Department of Homeland Security's political agenda that I know their next move before they do. I've been waiting for the next blood, guts, gore, and destructive shock and awe event that will be used, sold, manufactured, and propagandized to the American people to sell you on the idea that not only do they need to confiscate your guns, not only do they need to take a big, giant, stinking shit all over the Second Amendment and the Constitution, but in addition to that, now that bombs are going off in American cities, well, look, they also have to implement a totalitarian George Orwell-style 1984, we're going to take away all your autonomy, liberty, and we're just going to destroy America. I mean, this is what it's about. And there's just so much I'm going to get into today. So much. I mean, honestly, I hope I cover it all. And I also want to take your calls on this. And if you're in Boston, I want to hear from you. AMTV wants to hear from you. So I've been actually getting a lot of tips via our tip line over the past 48 hours. We've been going through all of those. So please continue to send us updates. I know that the cell phone towers were knocked out for several hours in Boston, as well as the airspace. So I'm assuming there's a lot of footage, a lot of information, a lot of content, a lot of data that is on lockdown that the government doesn't want out or doesn't want fully exposed. So if you have any information along those lines, please send it to us. And don't assume that we're already aware of it. Obviously, we're I'm funneling through this massive amount of content as we speak, and we're working around the clock. But send us anything that you think is relevant, and we'll take a look at it, and if it's important, we'll get it out to the viewing public. That's what the alternative media is all about. That's what I do, and what we do, our growing grassroots organization, is all about. This has tall tale signs, in my opinion, of a government-staged terror attack. I know a lot of people, a lot of critics, a lot of people are being exposed to our content, the videos that I'm uploading for the first time. They're going, this guy's nuts. You know, this guy's a crackpot. What a conspiracy theorist. You know, they're just kind of coming in. You know, it's like they're dripping in from their sheeple pills, you know, that they've been consuming. And, you know, whatever medication they've been slamming down, it's like, you know, they're taking the shot to the arm and the injection of the RFID chip, you know, and they're suddenly getting, you know, kind of shocked and awed out of their, you know, stupor. You're probably shooting some whiskey on the side as well. And, you know, the initial gut reaction is basically F you. You know, F you. How dare you investigate the truth? You know, how dare you try to get to the bottom of this? How dare you have a rational, critical thought process? How dare you do critical thinking? How dare you investigate possible and potential motives for this tragic event? Because these people, you know, they're just ready for totalitarianism. Look, they want Hitler to rise. Well, I've got news for you. Hitler's already in power. Okay? You know who that person is. He's already there. Okay, the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, the record ammunition buy, their MRAPs. I saw one. It couldn't have been more honestly coincidental or perfect timing. I saw one on the road for myself for the first time the day before the Boston massacre. So, look, I understand these people are just kind of waking up and it's like, holy shit. And the initial gut reaction is F you. But I can't stress enough that this has nothing to do, again, our organization is not discounting this tragedy. We're not discounting the victims. Bottom line, my heart goes out to them. I pray for them. I encourage that you do the same. But this Boston explosion, this Boston bombing, this Boston terror attack has the hallmark of a government-staged terror attack. very familiar and reminiscent to what we saw on September 11th. Very reminiscent. You remember the images, the shock images, not only of the initial impact or the supposed impact of the airliners with the buildings falling, demolitioning and a perfect demolition, and then, of course, you had Building 7 just randomly goes down as well, and was detonated, in many people's opinions, after the fact. And you've got the images of the smoky faces and just the tear, and, this keeps people up at night. And I'm not going to lie to you, this stuff keeps me up at night. This stuff is scary. I mean, this is shock and awe, blood and guts. We're going to kill all your children. We're going to Sandy Hook your ass. And we're going to blow this mofo up. And watch and learn, America. Watch and learn. Watch and learn, and watch how they carefully and eloquently and particularly present this coming legislation on gun control and on totalitarianism, this Google Glass, tattletale on your neighbor. Call Janet Napolitano if you see one of those ragheads out and about looking suspicious. But the difference is, now it's not the stereotype. Now it's not, those desert people or those Al-Qaeda people, which is, really just the equivalent of the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus. Now it's you. Now it's the patriot movement. Now it's the survivalists. Now it's the constitutionalists. It's the average John and Jane. It's you listening and tuning into this live radio show as I deliver this message to you. You are the terrorists now. You are the lone wolf. Just like President Barack Obama has said in numerous interviews. I mean, hey, they're not worried about Al-Qaeda, man. They're worried about you. The question is why? Why are they so worried about the average American? Could it have anything to do with the fact that they've been staging terror attacks with increased frequency over the past couple of years? Could it have anything to do with the fact that they are murdering civilians overseas, millions of people? Could it have anything to do with selling the American people on the lie and the false pretenses of weapons of mass destruction so the United States can go gang bang and drone strike places like Iraq and Afghanistan? Does it have anything to do with that? Does it have anything to do with Sergeant Bales going off of his base in Iraq and murdering a dozen or so Iraqi civilians and then piling their body up in a nice pretty pile, dousing them with gasoline and lighting them on fire so you can smell the flesh? Doesn't really go too good with your lunch, does it? Could it have anything to do with that? Could it have anything to do with the fact that this financial crash was an inside job? Could it have anything to do with the fact that this government has been stealing trillions of dollars from the American people over the past few years, creating a debt situation that is sure to implode our entire economy, rather already has, but it assures a systemic implosion and collapse of the entire financial system itself? Could it have anything to do with that? Could it have anything to do with these sharp controls and the implementation of the Patriot Act and the labeling of the American patriot and the person that loves this country as the enemy? Could it have anything to do with any of this? And these examples I'm giving you are just touching the surface, my friends. Just giving you a little bit of a taste. It's like tasting a little cocaine, Yeah. Give you a little taste right on the tongue there. You'll be like Tony Montana. I can't do his voice, but it's like Tony Montana, or Montana, however you want to call him. He's sitting with his big coke pile, just loving it. He's trying to screw his sister at the same time. This is the kind of people that these Illuminists are. This is the kind of devil satanic worship that is taking place at the highest levels of government and power within our system today. This isn't bullshit. This isn't a lie. It's the truth. And something I've noticed for a very long time since I've been doing this is the truth, the real truth, and nothing but the truth always drives a virulent violent reaction from the sheeple. Always a violent reaction because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to be woken up from their dazed and confused state. Like, hey, Chris, hey, guys, don't wake me up. I'm drugged out here. I'm on a constant CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, Fox News drip. And I like what I taste. So that's the problem with a lot of this. I want all of you to be aware. I see the queue. I see the phones are off the hook right now, lighting up. I'm going to go to all of you. So stay there. Stay with me. And we're going to have a commercial break coming up here in a few minutes. But I want to make sure I iron out a lot of these issues. And then I'm going to go to the calls. This is a hallmark of staged terrorism. Whatever you want to call it. Government cover-up. Government conspiracy, however you want to pinpoint it, New World Order. Remember Biden dropped that a few days ago, that terminology, that he wouldn't do that by accident. There's a reason why he said it. This smells rotten to the core, and it stinks to high heaven. And as I've said many times before, if it stinks, smells, looks and tastes like a pile of shit, then guess what, my friends? It's a stinking pile of shit. Personally, I don't like eating shit. I got to go to a quick break. Everybody stay tuned. Callers, stay with us. I want to go to you in a minute. Everybody hold on. Christopher Green, hard-hitting and in your face. Hey, everybody. I'm Christopher Green, founder and creator of the Alternative Media Television Network. Please check out our new sponsor, SeedsNow.com. Whether you're concerned about the economy, food shortages, rising food prices, or just looking to live an organic, self-sustainable lifestyle, investing in your own seed bank is the smartest investment you can make. At SeedsNow.com, we've put together the most comprehensive collection of high-quality, non-hybrid, and non-genetically modified seeds. The Mega Seed Bank, which I personally recommend, is stocked with 55 popular open-pollinated varieties and over 58,000 plus high-quality seeds. All fresh, all natural, all non-hybrid. Remember, the government won't save you. Only you can save yourself. Check them out today at seedsnow.com. Enter promo code GREEN with an E10 for a 10% discount. Again, that's seedsnow.com, promo code GREEN with an E10. Hey everybody, we are back. I'm Christopher Green. This is Green Wave Radio Live. Sometimes I get a little angry here. I'm just looking at a few of the videos we put up. Obviously, we are covering the Boston explosion. In my opinion, smells rotten. Looks just like the perfect example of government staged terror. I just put up a video titled Boston Explosion Staged Terror, Special Report. Sure enough, it's already being censored. Google's sending me reports that we've got matched third-party content. Matched third-party content. So we're already being censored. I also did notice that the video that I put out yesterday that went pretty viral, Boston Marathon Explosion, False Flag Terror, that's also being censored by YouTube. In fact, if you click the video, you have to acknowledge that you're about to see graphic content, or what the community says, or actually Google, the Google hierarchy says they want to censor. And take a look at that video specifically, because in the video, Boston Marathon Explosion, False Flag Terror, it's up to about 28,000 views. Probably have 1 million if it wasn't being censored right now. It has let me repeat, no cursing, no deadly images. I don't even show the images that are already swirling on the internet of the bodies and the blood and the guts and the dismemberment. Nothing like that. There is nothing really offensive in the video at all, outside of some guy, which happens to be me, giving an opinion and exercising his freedom of speech. So it is pretty unfreaking believable, actually, because you're censored on every single angle. And I give YouTube credit because obviously we're able to come out here and YouTube's been pretty fair in terms of, allowing and engaging an audience and, having a platform so we can put content out. But it isn't perfect. It isn't perfect. And it's exactly why, I'm working around the clock along with those involved with our small, growing grassroots organization to control, at least to a certain regard, our own syndication and push this out where, we're doing our own broadcasts. It's our own live stream. It's our own feed, etc. Because then they literally got to knock on our doors to shut us down. They can do that, but it makes it a little bit more difficult to do that. So right off the bat, I'm feeling a little bit disgruntled. I just picked up on the latest censorship on the video I just put up. So you know what? Do yourself a favor and share the shit out of those two videos. I mean, honestly, put them to CDs and just give them out to your friends. Share them everywhere. Let's piss off the establishment with this. Let's get in their faces. Because I'm tired of being censored. I'm tired of being pushed around. I'm tired of being bent over by the administration like, sorry, Christopher, and the rest of you Americans, we're just going to stick it right up your ass because that's what we want to do. Don't like bailouts? Tough luck. We're going to stick that baseball bat right up there anyways. Hope they use Vaseline. Might make the insertion process a little bit easier. Obama's going to get his full fist in there. He's into fisting. I'm sure I'm, really saying some crazy stuff now. Oh, might get taken off the airways, FCC. Oh, you can't say that. There's no freedom of speech anymore in America. This is freaking Hitlerville. Obamaville. The Obamanoids got their little Obama swastika on their shirts, the DHS symbol. Dun, 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 dun. Those people had very little power, control, or influence. They were the kids pushed around in high school or whatnot. Now it's like, hey, I can get back at those cool kids now. I can't wait to get that DHS badge on and kill some people. It's the same reason a lot of kids nowadays get involved in these wars for the wrong reasons. They're just bloodthirsty or something, play too many video games. Too many death, blood, guts, and gore and unreality. In the meantime, they're all psyched out and drugged up on psychotropics, SSRIs, like all of these killers have been, to really evaluate, reality from non-reality. So they love killing, man. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of messed up people out there. They're the same type of people like the Adam Lanzas and the James Holmes and the Jared Loughner's, etc., going out on these murder-killing sprees. Of course, federal government, is going to use them as their big scapegoat to just, eradicate all of your freedom. You don't need guns. You don't need liberty of any sort, of any kind. You don't need freedom. You don't need the Constitution. Obama says it's an archaic document. You don't need Congress. He just bypasses that. You just don't need anything. All you need to know is you better bow down to your new God. You better bow down to Lord King Obama, your Satan savior, your bloodthirsty murderer. Oh, yeah, I remember Obama. Oh, I'm going to get you out of those wars. Oh, yeah, I'm going to close down Gitmo. That's one story I haven't been able to get to, is we've been sucked into the Boston Explosion Massacre. Part due. There's everyone at Gitmo, a good portion of them are now on a hunger strike, saying, well, we're here illegally. You're waterboarding us, etc. We haven't, a lot of these people haven't done anything wrong. Some of them, I'm sure some of them, and who knows, maybe a good portion of them are hardened criminals. But a lot of them, they're against their will, never got a trial, habeas corpus. Again, and that's the point. You got to give people trials. You can't just hold them, because it's like, hey, we don't like you. We're just going to kill you. We're going to waterboard you. And we're going to lock you up. How do you feel about that? Okay, that's why we have a system. That's why we have due process. That's why we have all these things. Or maybe we used to have those things. We don't have those things anymore. One of the driving fundamentals behind this latest terror event that makes me think, this was, again, my initial conclusion, my initial gut reaction, staged terror attack, this is the government, they're behind this. This is one of the most fundamental points. The casualty count. Let me repeat that. The casualty count. How many people died yesterday? 3. 3 that I'm aware of based on the reports that I've read up until this moment here at 1:30 Phoenix time. 3. That's it. You had 2 bombs go off in an area where thousands and thousands and thousands of people congregate in a very small, concentrated area, and only 3 people dead. 3, for those of you out there that are bilingual. That's it. 3 people. 2 bombs. So what does that tell us? That is a very unsuccessful terrorist attack. Minimal casualties, but maximum media exposure, maximum government terror. You've seen the images. They can't stop playing them. They can't stop doing it, whether or not you're on CNN, Fox, MSNBC, CNBC, ESPN. It's just explosion, explosion, blood, guts, gore, smoke, bomb, death, destruction, fear, fear, fear. Red alert. That's what we're getting. Repeatedly. What does that mean, and what does that tell us? Well, it's either one or two things. Either there's a legitimate terrorist out there who's decided to wage war on the American people, you know, as the government would like us to believe. It could be an affiliate of Al-Qaeda. Team America, F yeah. You know those guys, like with the turbans, like, oh, I hate America. I'm going to kill innocent Americans. So it could be one of those fictitious cartoon characters. Or it could be the lone wolf domestic terrorist with an axe to grind. But what we do know, and this is why I think it doesn't just lean. I mean, it's magnified to the direction of domestic terrorism, which is how they're going to propagandize this, in my opinion, and spin it. That was my initial gut reaction, because it appears, well, it doesn't just appear, it's a fact that this person didn't know what they were doing. If it was, in fact, just one person and not a conspiracy and a group of people or, you know, et cetera. So very unsuccessful. Minimal casualties. Only 3 dead. Somebody, a friend was telling me yesterday, was telling a friend of one of my friends who mentioned it to me because they know, you know, I'm always talking about this stuff, and you wanted me to relay this to our audience, said that, you know, hey, this was a friend, said, hey, I ran the Boston Marathon 5 years, and I'm just really surprised that there weren't more people killed. I mean, I would at least think there'd be like 1,000 people murdered. Or, you know, 1,000 plus people murdered and hundreds of people dismembered. And so that friend, who really isn't in the whole truth movement or anything like that, was like, yeah, that made me kind of question this attack. And they stare me in the eye and they're like, yeah, you know, it kind of feels like this is like a government cover-up. And I'm just like, yeah, I was kind of, I don't find it funny, but it's just kind of, it's interesting when people kind of start coming to these realizations. I really didn't even have to say anything. I'm just like, kind of nodding there, like, Minimal casualties. That, to me, raises a very big red flag. Again, if you're just coming to the live feed, I am going to go to your calls in a moment. I see you in the queue. Also, I just released our it's our 3rd video on the Boston explosion. It's actually the 3rd to be censored. The newest one's titled Boston Explosion Stage Terror Special Report. We're already getting matched third-party content, copyright infringement, YouTube, Google censorship. The video yesterday has been also flagged. Boston Marathon Explosion, False Flag Terror, 28,000 views. That's flagged. So as I mentioned to you before, try to get these videos out while they're still out. Because I don't know how long they'll be out here. I mean, I've seen this even with some of our friends in the alternative media. They'll, you know, put out content that got a, you know, really successful viral video, as is the case with us quite frequently, and then they take it down. So I would get this content out and share it. In fact, you've got my permission to just go ahead. You can just put this up anywhere. Just get the content out. And, of course, I back up our databases and put everything out, so that we've got this content, at least in hard disk format. If for some reason we get some kind of blackout and shut down, or, suddenly miraculous, my computer just kind of engages in a ball of flames courtesy of the FBI or something like that. Because, again, freedom of speech in this country is extremely dangerous. So this has the tall tale, hallmark signs of stage terror. Now, let me get into some more specifics before I go to your calls, which is coming up next. I just want to make sure I run through and go through all these specific points. Some of this you got to write down. I mean, I literally had to write down some of this stuff because there's so many connecting dots. So we have the Boston bombing. We have the Boston massacre. The 2 bombs go off, minimal casualties. The first historical significance in terms of the timing is the obvious. It occurs on tax day, April 15th. So it's on a day where a lot of Americans are very kind of anti-government. I mean, hey, who likes paying their taxes? Not a whole lot of people. It's also been suggested, within the Liberty Movement, within Occupy Wall Street, and all these, organizations, hey, a great way to kind of take away from the government is, well, just, extend and file for an extension on tax day. So, I mean, there's, all kinds of things around tax day, patriotism, the Liberty Movement, survivalism, et cetera. So it's done on tax day. Huge indicator right there. Another red flag goes up. We already had a few of them up. In addition to that, it also happens to be Patriots Day. Patriots Day, the celebration and commemoration of the first battles of the American Revolutionary War at Lexington and Concord. So it's also Patriots Day. So in addition to April 15th, 2013 Tax Day, it is also Patriots Day. In addition to that, in terms of historical timeliness and historical reference, it's also the same week anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. Another staged terror attack, in the opinion of a lot of people that have actually spent the time to research and study this sort of thing. In addition to that, it is also taken place during the same week anniversary of Waco, another patriot, survivalist, influenced period of history. And again, in addition to that, those are just some examples. It clearly connects, in my opinion, to the James Holmes shooting, the Jared Loughner, the Adam Lanza, all of these CIA, PSYOP stage terror events to propagandize the American people and destroy American liberty and just completely get rid of it. Another very telling observation and report came out earlier yesterday. The first person to break it was yours truly, Alex Jones over at InfoWars, at least from what I saw, or at least he was the first person to report it in video format. Then it got picked up by a lot of other feeds. Kudos to him for picking up on this. That's why it's important you do send us your tips so that we can break this news. A bombing drill. I'm going to get to this in a minute. All the callers stay tuned, but a bombing drill. I want to get into the specifics of this. Then we go to your calls. I'll be right back. I'm Christopher Green, Green Wave Radio Live. Yeah. Let's gear up for war, America. Let's go kill more people. Yeah, false flag, red, white, blue. Let's go to Iraq and Afghanistan. Then we'll go to Iran and anywhere else to kill more. Yeah. Someone should write a song about that. Not a very good singer, but that's my take. So I'm going to go to your calls here in a moment, and really the whole second hour is going to be open just for open discussion. And if you're out in Boston, I do want to hear from you. So give us a call. Again, our number is 218-339-8525, 218-339-8525. I'll make sure to get up this archive broadcast as soon as possible as well, so we can get it out to those of you that weren't able to tune into the live stream today. Please share it. Please get out our censored, let me repeat that, censored video coverage, news coverage of this tragic event.
Really pisses people off with the truth. Really pisses people off. How dare we exercise, and I exercise my freedom of speech. I talk about it all the time. All the time. First it's guns, then it's bombs going off, then it's, the Google Glass, totalitarian, technological police state, followed up by you no longer have freedom of speech, because, hey, that's dangerous. That's dangerous in the eyes of these people. We're the enemy now. All the American patriots out there that just love America and love their families and want a better world, that have been screwed over the past several decades, and really screwed over the past few years with trillions of dollars of bailouts and foreclosures and bankruptcy and debt into infinity. You people, the pissed off little dipshits is what the government likes to call us. You're the enemy now. You're the enemy. So a lot of main driving fundamental points that I've been going over here. And if you're just picking up, one of the very interesting observations and occurrences before the Boston Marathon took place yesterday, there are reports coming from several sources. You can just go ahead and Google this yourself. And it's been reported by a lot of alternative media outlets, including ours. There was a bombing drill that coincided with yesterday's explosions. Bomb-sniffing dogs. There's an account of an individual. There's a video viral on YouTube. I'm sure it's being censored as well, probably soon to be taken down. Dogs were out and about. Didn't look normal. Didn't look like the typical, they're just covering the bases, making sure everything's okay. Looked like something was in action. Something that was actually occurring before this race even started. So that'd be something I'd like to hear your thoughts on, and I'd like also, send us any more content or information on that as the story develops. So what is this? So who exactly is the perpetrator here? Because Dianne Feinstein, and I retweeted this yesterday, said yesterday that this could be foreign or domestic terror. Foreign or domestic. And actually, in a point here, and I'm glad I wrote a lot of this stuff down, because there was so much to report on yesterday that we could barely get out all the material. Another huge news story yesterday. Huge. In fact, Topher Morrison did a really great job of getting to it with today's AMTV News report. Gold gets crushed. Silver gets crushed. It's the largest percentage point drop in some odd 20 years. Okay, which to me doesn't scare me or anything like that. I mean, look, it's a market. It's good to see price fluctuations. If anything, I see it as a buying opportunity. I'm not giving you investment advice. I'm just giving you my opinion. I see it as an opportunity. In fact, could go down lower. I think that'd be a good thing. Why not get cheaper? But in addition to that, gold, silver, and stocks get hammered. They were getting hammered before the bombs even went off. And so, isn't that convenient timing? In addition to all the things and the historical and the timing significance that I've already been over, and for those of you just coming into the broadcast, you're going to have to go back to the archive to pick that up. I don't want to have to repeat myself twice. In addition to all that, you have the markets just get totally crushed yesterday, even pre the bombs. Now remember, this comes on the heels of news beginning to leak out. We're seeing this from the big movers and shakers in Wall Street as, again, a lot of these investors, hedge funds, etc., they're selling gold. They're getting out of the market, or they're selling out, these ETFs. They're taking profits, etc. right now, rotating out. There's been leaked reports that the Federal Reserve may, in fact, and this has been going on to infinity, but may, in fact, start to lift up on the pedal a little bit with quantitative easing, which would be a reason to sell gold. It would be a reason, or at least from Wall Street's perspective, a reason for some of these more violent and atypical, not typical market fluctuations. So we have that. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time necessarily digging into the specifics of that. But that's another outlier that deserves to be investigated in more detail, because, again, the government's running a Ponzi scheme right now. They want to take your eye off the ball of Cyprus, the collapse of the euro, the collapse of Europe, the disintegration of their currency, the disintegration of our currency here, the dollar, the inevitable consequence of all this printing and this haphazard, pirate mentality of 0% interest rates, fast and quick money for Wall Street while they destroy America and the quality of life of average citizens is all going to come to roost, is all going to come to a grinding halt at some point. Already has to a large extent, but at some point we're going to get that next systemic shock that'll make 2008 look like a church picnic. So don't take your eye off the ball. You know, while the government is doing one thing with its right hand, make sure you're watching the left hand. Okay, so I want you to be aware of that. In addition, and I mentioned this before, cell phone towers shut down, airspace was shut down, etc. There was some reporting that, hey, is this going to be blamed on the Tea Party? Is this, I saw some newscasters speak of this yesterday. There's more videos on this online saying, this looks like the work of right-wing extremists. And there's one last point that I want to make before I take calls. One last point that I want to make. And I'm going to open up the entire second hour here in a moment to take all of your calls and to field all your questions, comments, etc. But I always get from liberals, the liberals, that's what I just said, liberals, the sob story. Christopher, guns kill people. Guns kill people. You're such an asshole. What about the children? What about the children? And they, drool all over themselves, and that's Obama's whole pitch, like, hey, let me use these children as a human shield to pass this authoritarian control measures, to, do what we're going to do with gun control, etc. Well, here's what I got to give back to all you crybaby liberals. What about the children? What about the children that tell me constantly I got to give up my Second Amendment and right to defend my homeland, my city, my town, my church, my family, my friends, while these scumbags on Wall Street and Washington keep their armed guards with AK-47s so President Barack Obama can protect his precious family, his wife, his two daughters, Sasha and the other one, but I'm not allowed to do the same for mine. They can take my guns away and your guns away and your self-defense away, sell us down the river, sell you and me down the river, but they ain't giving up their guns. They ain't giving up their protection. Mayor Bloomberg isn't walking around New York City without his dumb thugs armed to the teeth. What I have to say to all you crybaby liberals is, what are you going to do now? How are you going to solve this now? Are you gonna ban fertilizer? Are you gonna launch a war on Home Depot? Are you gonna destroy ball bearings? Are you gonna target Nike? Are you gonna target tennis shoes? Ban marathons? Ban marathon runners? Confiscate and outlaw fun? Is that what you're gonna do? Because for God's sakes, children are dying. See the holes? See the holes in this whole little, assessment? And trust me, I know how it's going to be spun, and I actually know what the liberals are going to tell me. They're going to say, well, that's exactly why we need this police state, Christopher. It's exactly why I'm willing to give up all, not just a little, but all of my freedom and suck the you-know-what of President Barack Obama because I'm scared. And I would rather give up all of my liberty and just destroy America and everything we stand for so that I can sleep better at night while I'm watching American Idol. So I know the response. I know the reaction, which is exactly why Washington, and keep your eyes on Washington, will be launching, as they already have, but it'll be now much more comprehensive. It'll make the Patriot Act and these other things that they've done look like nothing. Not only is gun control and gun outright confiscation and registration coming to the United States of America, but they will include into this package, it'll be a multi-thousand gazillion page document that you could stand on, as tall as the Empire State Building, that, nobody reads, but inserted in it will be like they can drone strike you if they want to, and they don't need a warrant or whatever to search your belongings, etc. It's exactly why they'll be launching a massive, comprehensive legislation package. And to a certain extent, it's not going to surprise me. I think it's probably likely. I mean, they're going to just bypass Congress on it, because you can't get this stuff through Congress. They're just going to bypass everything. And the American idiots are going to be 110% behind it. I mean, they support it. They're going to want it. I'm the crack, job over here, the loose cannon or the, tinfoil hat guy. It really honestly blows my mind. I'm the only guy left, I think, with a little bit of sanity on this godforsaken, evil planet that we live in. Tons of you in the queue. Hold on. The entire next hour is dedicated to you. So hold on, stay there, and don't go anywhere. I'm Christopher Green. Right back. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green, founder and creator of the Alternative Media Television Network. Please check out our new sponsor, SeedsNow.com. Whether you're concerned about the economy, food shortages, rising food prices, or just looking to live an organic, self-sustainable lifestyle, investing in your own seed bank is the smartest investment you can make. At SeedsNow.com, we've put together the most comprehensive collection of high-quality, non-hybrid, and non-genetically modified seeds. The Mega Seed Bank, which I personally recommend, is stocked with 55 popular open-pollinated varieties and over 58,000 plus high-quality seeds. All fresh, all natural, all non-hybrid. Remember, the government won't save you. Only you can save yourself. Check them out today at SeedsNow.com. Enter promo code GREEN with an E10 for a 10% discount. Again, that's SeedsNow.com, promo code GREEN with an E10.
No rules, no rules, no taboo topics, no taboo topics, no fear of doom, no fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio, American Freedom Radio.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You now entering the Daily Wave, hosted by Mr. Christopher Green himself. On me, I'm just a fellow truth speaker. I go by the name of Doctrine. Welcome to the Daily Wave, starring Christopher Green.
I'm Christopher Green with TV Radio. Your calls. I'm going to queue right now, as I promised. And our call number 213-398-3985. Let's go. 1-0. On the air. What's on your?
Hello.
Yes, hi. You're on air.
Mr. Green, I could barely hear you. I applaud your work and what you do. Can you hear me?
I can hear you louder. A little bit better now?
Yeah, it's a lot better. I've been recently watching this news and what's going on up in Boston, and it's a terrible thing. I hear a lot of people down here in Wilmington, North Carolina, talking about how this is terrible and how we've got all these bodies and all this stuff going on. And being in Iraq as a hired gun, working for security firms, private security firms for 6 years, I'm pretty familiar with this. This appears to be what it looks like is an IED. People down here, they're flabbergasted. They can't believe this happened in our home country. But can you imagine if this happened in your home country almost on a daily basis? We got Obama, that piece of crap, who's using drones and he's killing children overseas while he's got his tear in his eye for these for the children at Sandy Hook. He's using that on using their back to promote gun bans and whatnot. And people that just can't believe the carnage in the United States just because we're not used to it. What do you think about that?
I think that's the point. And I mean, very much did and not a or not. I mean, that was the effect that it had. Very unsuccessful. I mean, if it was done well, I don't know if that sounds.
You're really coming in broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Obama's not putting up more of them. What is that? Together We Thrive T-shirts that he did on his on that Kathy Gifford shooting. Promoted all them T-shirts with Together We Thrive on the back seats. For everybody to come in there and promote more of his agenda. And I'm just thinking about what the United States has become, and I'm ready to pull the tooth. Basically speaking, I'm just ready to pull the tooth.
We need more cameras. Also, I'm seeing explosives made of pressure cookers. That's the latest stuff that I haven't read yet. Report bombs to look like discarded property. Second victim ID. Spectator went to finish line to take photo. Big Sis, Galatato, says there's no other plot. No other plot. There's a $50,000 reward post. Just like I said, when they identified the Saudi national, who it appears has been questioned on a roommate, the roommate of, and this is really interesting, I forgot to mention this, for the condominium that these people are staying at, that the Saudi national being called here. There's so many telltale signs cover up, and this is a staged terror attack. I don't know if because of being unbelievably obvious. The report here. This is from Politico. At least we can go ahead and cover this before we're able to get back to the call itself. Let's see if these pages will. Your Axelrod Obama thinks bombings could be related to tax day. They must have had some sort of threat called in from a runner. Witnesses recount war zone. At marathon, warning, graphic content. FBI seeks photos, videos. All this has been on lockdown. 2 men speaking Arabic have been escorted off plane. Muslim Brotherhood leader points to conspiracy behind bombing. So we can go to that. Okay, so Janet Napolitano says no indication Austin was part of broader plot, but still cautious. So here she is giving us basically zero information. Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano said Tuesday that there is no sign the Owens and Boston of a broader plot, but that her department is still being cautious. While there is no current indication to suggest that the events in Boston are indicative of said in a written statement. Out of an abundance of caution, she added, DHS continues to keep in place enhanced security measures, transportation hubs, utilize measures seen and unseen. Earlier, Napolitano was moving senior administrative officials briefed President Obama on the response to the incident. I'm going to produce this again. We can you hear me? I'm getting a response for okay. So I am, but they say I am breaking up bad. Breaking up bad. All right, we got to go to a break. Let us try to figure this out. Go back, call line. Thanks for bearing.
Your Mind 2, a conference on consciousness, mind control, and the occult. April 25th through 27th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. World-renowned whistleblowers gather together to shed light on our world's problems and bring forward empowering solutions. 3 days, 24 speakers, your mind set free. Free Your Mind 2, April 25th through 27th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. For speaker and ticket information, visit freeyourmindconference.com.
My name is John Stewart, president of Biophysica, Inc., and a biomedical engineer. We make the world's most advanced colloidal generators for domestic and industrial quantities of mineralized waters. Many bottling plants worldwide use our generators to make colloidal silver, the world's most life-saving antimicrobial supplement, as well as colloidal zinc, gold, magnesium, copper, iron, etc. Biophysica Advanced Generators produce the smallest nanomolecules to ensure potency against the smallest, most vicious viruses. A Biophysica colloidal generator will give your family the best quality colloidal silver for many years, quickly, cheaply, and easily. Contact us at biophysica.com or call us at 416-636-5804.
Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green, founder and creator of the Alternative Media Television Network. Please check out our new sponsor, SeedsNow.com. Whether you're concerned about the economy, food shortages, rising food prices, or just looking to live an organic, self-sustainable lifestyle, investing in your own seed bank is the smartest investment you can make. At SeedsNow.com, we've put together the most comprehensive collection of high-quality, non-hybrid, and non-genetically modified seeds. The Mega Seed Bank, which I personally recommend, is stocked with 55 popular open-pollinated varieties and over 58,000 plus high-quality seeds. All fresh, all natural, all non-hybrid. Remember, the government won't save you. Only you can save yourself. Check them out today at SeedsNow.com. Enter promo code GREEN with an E10 for a 10% discount. Again, that's SeedsNow.com, promo code GREEN with an E10.
Has your heart been pounding? Feel short of breath? Got high blood pressure or problems sleeping? Heart disease is a leading cause of death. Being surrounded by fast food, toxic air, and poisoned water has a cumulative effect as we enter later life. Medications that only address symptoms ensure these problems persist, while your family and finances suffer. It's time to work with the body and its own innate ability to heal itself. Heart and Body Extract is a natural, organic herbal supplement that restores balance. A heart attack could be just around the corner. Spare your loved ones pain and fear. Protect yourself, protect your health with Heart and Body Extract. With a lifetime money-back guarantee, you have no excuse. Order a 2-month supply today. Call toll-free 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online at hbextract.com.
Warning. Warning. American. Warning. American Freedom Radio. This habit forming. American Freedom Radio. This habit forming. Use the truth carefully.
Your daily dose of conspiracy and comedy is the Vinny Eastwood Show. In a world so full of madness and chaos, don't lose your sense of humour or you'll go friggin' nuts. Weekdays 5 till 7 Central on American Freedom Radio.
Hi, everybody. We are back. We've had to move to Plan B, so I'm actually using a direct hard line for some reason. I don't know if we're under some kind of internet attack at the moment, but our servers are getting crushed, at least on my end. So my voice is probably going to sound a little bit more on the crapola side since we're doing this the old-fashioned way. But I do have the caller lines open. This would be a good time to just open up the discussion again. I want to hear from all of you, especially if you're out there in Boston. Give us a call. Our direct number, 218-339-8525. Let's go to a 480 area code. It's a 480 area code. Hi, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Okay, same thing. It's been on my mind for a long time, and I can't get anybody to get it on their mind, unfortunately. So I heard you say Obama's family gets taken care of, but our families get screwed. Look, the past 3 years I've been looking into the historicity of how this country came about. What it looks like more is that, yes, we have freedom that's inherited, but it's not from the founding fathers. It's not specifically American. It's an actual international right of self-determination, which at the time the founding fathers, it was called the right of exile, which was basically you have the right to walk the plank, okay? And that's what we've got the right to do. They changed the title to the right of self-determination in 1947, I think, if I'm correct. And that is basically, I think, a more proper title because it's a reminder of just how much determination you as the individual, being a part of the general public or a citizen/slave, has to be so determined to gain freedom. You have that right to gain freedom, but you were not born into a world where you have freedom. We are slaves. So as far as Obama's family getting taken care of, that's his status, and that's the as far as what I've found, what has stuck to the wall, there's no gripe that I have towards the government, and as long as the fit doesn't hit the shan here on the streets, it's kind of sad to say this, but
I guess what, and this kind of opens up a good discussion, where you're going to have, I guess, some controversy and you're going to have opposing viewpoints around this issue. And, I'm glad you brought this up because, it is something to discuss. I mean, a lot of people think that it's, kind of like a natural right. I've heard people say it's like your natural human rights to, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. There's another very large segment of our society, which is how the nation was founded under God. Under God. A lot of people believe it's a God-given right. So what is your opinion on that? Do you believe it to be a God-given right to freedom? Or is that something that you had mentioned set up by the international community? Or
I think the international community a long time ago understood that it's your God-given right to become so determined to pursue your own happiness. The problem amongst all parties, especially, the powers that be that are today and have been throughout all time, is dealing with, a general public who says, hey, wipe for me, okay? And do this for me and make things easier for me. I'm lazy and I like to be spoon-fed my information or whatever, Mm-hmm. And so what it is going to come down to is whether or not, we as radio show hosts, we as fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers, wherever we at, as an individual, are going to stop projecting our energy outwards in a negative fashion, and actually projecting it inwardly and getting to know ourselves and our own weaknesses and figuring out where we're lacking in our determination. And as far as what I've found helps the most is getting logical fallacies under your belt, at least the top 20.
Right there before we get into too many different topics. I would agree with you that it is the status of, President Barack Obama to own guns, to have, that type of protection, while at the same time taking it away from me or people like me, the little guy. But see, that's the status of a king, in my opinion. I don't like kings, and that's not how America was founded or set up. I mean, George, Washington could have become king, but he didn't want to be king. They didn't want that type of situation here in the States. So, I would say it actually is a proactive thing. A lot of people, within the liberty or libertarian movement or thought process is, I don't want a king. I don't like a king. This wasn't how the nation, it's not how it's supposed to work. So I'm going to take my liberty now. I'm going to take I'm not asking from these people. We're taking what is rightfully ours. And whether or not you believe that is a God-given right, which I happen to believe, or you believe that is just a fundamental human right, or, almost like a natural law, I don't think really matters. It is and I'll let you, get into the discussion here again, but it is in the self-interest of our rulers to dominate us, to keep us in bondage, to keep us working for the man, so that we don't rise to their status. Again, that's what's wrong with what's happening to America today. That's what's wrong, in my opinion, about the environment. You got a bunch of Wall Street crooks running around, raping and pillaging, destroying our systems, whether or not that's financial or just maybe you view it as a moral system. There's no integrity. We encourage theft, fraud, and these kinds of things. Those are some of the core structural problems that need to be fixed. So, what would your take be on that? What is your response to that?
My response to that is that I have no information that I have been able to find that points to me having any status other than a slave at this point as a citizen of the United States. And as a citizen of the United States, that is the way it has always been. And it has been an advantage to the powers that be for over 200 years to let us be so deluded to think that we do have property and that we do have ownership. But that is not necessarily the case at all, and neither has it ever been. And that what they're trying to get us to do, and they do show grace and they do show honor when they see an individual doing this, is actually learning international law, figuring out the right of self-determination, and
wrap up the final thought, because I do want to go to some of the other callers. So
okay, it's just being educated is to where they are. That's the important part. Okay, and not giving in.
I appreciate the call. I'm going to go to some other callers, and I mean to cut you off, but yeah, I do have a lot of people in the queue today. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know if I agree with what you're saying, but I do appreciate the perspective. Let's go to our next caller. This is another 480 area code. Hi, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Hey, Chris. Well, actually, this probably goes with what this caller ahead of you had to say. He's basically saying that we don't have freedom, but what I have to say basically contradicts that. We don't have, well, I guess I can go along. We don't have the knowledge of what freedom and power we actually have. I've been doing some research, and I don't know if you're familiar with Red Beckman. If you look him up on YouTube, he has videos, Fully Informed Jury. We have the final say in any laws when we basically are on a grand jury or a trial jury. But they don't inform us anymore ever since 1895 because of big corporations pressured them to not inform us that we have the right to judge laws on whether they're immoral, unjust, unconstitutional. But now juries are only informed to basically to judge the law as it's written, which whether it's unconstitutional or not. But what we need to understand is we have the power to protect other citizens and other Americans from unjust, unconstitutional laws. I mean, I've just found this out.
I want to dig into kind of the basis of your argument is how. I mean, how do we have due process now? Is Bradley Manning getting due process? Are the people in Gitmo getting due process? I mean, are they getting a fair trial?
Yeah, well, with Bradley Manning, that's military tribunal probably. I'd have to look into that more. I'm trying to catch up with all this stuff in a year's time. But basically, a grand jury, it's citizens that are picked out to decide whether something goes to trial. So if they know they have the right to just say, okay, this is a victimless crime, it's immoral, unjust, unconstitutional, but of course they have to know about the Constitution in the first place, which we're not taught the true principles of the Constitution, public indoctrination, government schooling, then it's going to go to trial because the judge is just going to say, well, this is the law, it's written, and judge this as it goes. I mean, I find this as pretty significant, but I just found it out, so it may take some time for it to sink in and try to figure it out. But it does seem like we do have the power. Grand jury decides whether something goes to trial, and then the jury decides, which is supposed to be a jury of the peers, and when it was created, it meant your peers, meaning your neighbors, people that lived around you, where it's been, changed and manipulated over time, where it's people that just live I guess, in the same county as you.
Well, another perfect example of the counterpoint, I think, to your argument is, again, Christopher Dorner. You probably, were exposed to that, at least to a certain extent. I mean, he was literally hunted, and the LAPD and the police department were hunting to kill him. There was no fair trial. There was no, we're going to get you in front of a jury and, appoint an attorney to you so you can give your side or anything. Who cares? I mean, he may have been very well guilty. But there was no opportunity for that. I mean, the LAPD went out and they literally started shooting random civilians. There was a lady and her daughter. One of the ladies was 70-plus years old. They literally unloaded dozens of bullets into their pickup truck that didn't even match the description of Christopher Dorner. They murdered the guy in broad daylight up at the cabin in Big Bear. So I kind of get the direction that you're going.
Yeah.
But, I think you need to do a little bit more research, and I say that, not to be overly critical or anything, but I don't know if I'm really quite following you. Thanks for the call. I got to go to the rest of our callers here. I want to make sure we get to everybody in the queue today. Again, our number 218-339-8525, 218-339-8525. Let's go to a 443 area code, Hi, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Hey, Christopher.
Hey, how are you doing?
Pretty ticked off.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty sick and tired of how things are going. And I was in the Marines for 5 years. I just got out last year. And for 1 year.
Where were you located when you were in the Marines?
I was down in Camp Lejeune. I was in infantry. So I went to Afghanistan for one tour, and then went to Europe a couple times, and did see a little combat. But what I wanted to talk about was in all the terrorist attacks in Afghanistan. Pretty much. I wouldn't call all those guys terrorists because a lot of them are just trying to defend their farms and stuff. And now I know about this, but at the time I didn't. And but as far as them, when they use if a terrorist group is going to use an IED in this whole deal in Boston, they would try to kill as many people as possible. They wouldn't put their bomb right next to 200 feet from a freaking hospital tent and then blow it up. So then all these people with their the wheelchairs and stuff just ready for them and freaking, oh hey, we got it, because that's government is there to save you. They're causing a problem. They're right there to save you. So that's just something that I took from it.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't look like, honestly, it's either the person had no idea what they're doing and they're just a complete amateur, or it points to an inside job and it points to a government conspiracy. And people can laugh at that all they want, but these are very big red flags, sticking points, things that don't make sense, that smell to high heaven, smell rotten, and you get to the point where you study this stuff. Again, I know the next move of these terrorists. I'm not referring to Al-Qaeda. I'm referring to the people in our government. I know these people's next move before they even implement. I mean, it's gotten that bad and that predictable and that disgusting. It's not like I get enjoyment reporting on these tragedies. I mean, they're very sad to me. But what I care about, along with the rest of America, those that are genuinely concerned, is the truth. I got to go to a quick break. I'm going to go to the rest of the calls here in just a moment. We've been having a great show. Stay tuned, everybody. Hard hitting and in your face. It's really sad to see the country that you love destroyed from the inside out, from within, from the same leadership, those people that supposedly govern us, that are supposed to have our best interests at heart. And very sad day yesterday with the Boston explosion, the bombings, the 2 bombs that went off. And even more crippling, honestly, to come to the conclusion that this just smells rotten, has all the telltale signs of staged terror. Again, we've seen this in history before. And there's clear and present motive for what we're seeing. I've been taking your calls here for much of the second hour. Let me go to our next caller. This is a 425 area code, 425. Hi, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Let me ask you a question. Every president since the beginning of this country has taken care of the children of the president and the vice president. Why all of a sudden are you focusing your attention on the president's children, who are, I personally believe Obama's children they're beautiful children that should be off limits. I mean, to sit here and complain about the president's children who spend their own money when they go on vacation. I don't know if you knew that or not. They don't spend taxpayers' money. It's been fact-checked completely.
Well, they don't. Who's paying the airliner fees?
Look it up. Every president.
Why would I focus? I'll let you get in here. Why would I focus on the children?
Yeah.
Because I don't like being ruled by kings. And if President Barack Obama it's not just an Obama thing. It's every president. No president should be allowed to protect his children, his wife, or his family with firearms that they outlaw to the general public. He is not above the law.
Here's the problem with the argument. Here's the problem with the argument. No firearms have been outlawed. Have they?
Well, they're in the process.
Background check.
Have you followed this legislation lately?
Yeah. Did it pass?
Have you seen what's happening around?
Did it pass?
It's in process.
It's going to. It's always around the corner, right?
Control.
Your predictions never come true. Your predictions never come true.
Countless examples. How do you explain Obama bypassing Congress and invading Libya and murdering Muammar Gaddafi? Was that a constitutional act?
He kept his promise by not putting troops on the ground.
When he murdered Anwar al-Awlaki via a drone strike? Are those constitutional acts? Murdering
no troops
people
on the ground?
Without trial? American citizens?
Were there troops on the ground?
Acts?
Were there troops on the ground? No. Did it go through the UN? Yes. Was it a UN charter? Yes. Was it NATO? Yes. Is Obama chief executive of NATO? No. Is Obama secretary of the UN? No. Do we have to abide by UN resolution? Yes.
Why do you defend the President Barack? I mean, why are you defending?
I like Obama. He's ended the war in Iraq. He's bringing the troops home from Afghanistan.
Time to do it. Took him a long time in the war in Iraq. It was before his re-election.
The stock market is at record highs. It's never been this high before. The dollar continues to remain strong. The borders, he's doubled border security. He's basically, I can go on and on, but I don't think he wants to hear about it. Hillary's going to be...
Well, I wanted to throw in there, when and if. Let's play the hypothetical then. Let's say Obama, without congressional approval, thinks it's prudent to get rid of certain types of weapons, AK-47s, et cetera, in this country. Is that something that you're behind?
No, and neither is he. See, that's the problem. You're believing the spin coming out of, I don't know who started this rumor.
That's what they've been saying.
That's what Bachman said. That's what Palin said, but that's not what Obama said.
That's what they're saying. I've watched the speeches. You can watch them talk. That's what they're saying. These weapons.
Has it happened after 4 years?
Joe Biden just said a few days ago that people own these types of guns because it's like driving a Ferrari.
Has it happened after 4 years?
To defend ourselves from a tyrannical government as it's some kind of cool trick to own a gun.
Has
it happened? It's not a cool trick. It's so we can defend ourselves from
I'm talking about the facts. Government. The facts of the matter are that nobody's gun has been taken after 4 years. I've been listening to this for 4 years. And the fact of the matter, I guarantee you, I'll bet you $100 after Obama leaves office, you'll be sitting here and you're going to still have the same firearm that you have right now. All your callers are going to have the same firearm they have. All this is a bunch of hysteria and screaming and yelling. And you have the right to do that, but you're really spinning your wheels, man. It's not going to happen. The Congress.
Well, that's your opinion. You're certainly entitled to that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let you go because I've taken up too much time.
I disagree with it.
Well, but it's not going to happen. Your guns aren't going to be taken. So just stop getting all just tied up into a tight ball and getting hysterical over it. It's really not worth it.
I hope you're right. I mean, I honestly hope you're right. Keep in mind this. We'll archive this show and we'll see who's right. At the end of the day, I would love to have you back on the program when you can no longer own an AK-47 in this country. Or they
That's not going to happen, so I'll probably never be on.
Or they ban, as has been said and stated specifically, you can't have a magazine with more than 13 rounds. That is whether or not you're limiting the guns or the ammunition or what we can hold, that is a form of confiscation. That's a confiscatory effort. So I appreciate the call, and again, you are certainly entitled to your opinion. This has been an interesting show today, and again, I welcome the opposition. I want to hear from those of you that support President Barack Obama. I don't get it. I know a lot of people that do. I know, most people, in my opinion, they want to be ruled by this guy. They don't want freedom. They want the comfort of their home. And honestly, they believe what the media tells them, and that's how they write it off. That's how they write off the Tea Party. That's how they write off the conservative base. Again, you're a tinfoil hat person. If you're a constitutionalist, consider yourself a patriot. If you believe that this country was founded under God, these are all things. This is how the country was set up. Bottom line, that isn't my opinion. That's just the fact. This country was founded on the idea of let's go kill ourselves some redcoats because these authoritative pricks are taxing us to infinity. So, I just love it when the liberal base, likes to tell me that President Barack Obama is doing good things. Times have changed, Christopher. Times have changed. I don't know what planet. Honestly, you're the tinfoil hat. These are the tinfoil hat people, in my opinion. I don't know what planet you're on. If you think that this is a good course. The stock market, record highs? Yeah, they're at record highs. The stock market was at record high pre-2008. And how did that end? It ended in $1 trillion plus wealth transfer out of the pockets of the middle class. Trillions of dollars on top of that worth of bailouts. A $17 trillion debt burden. Sky high into infinity. Rates are still at zero. You bet your ass this market could go to Dow 18, 20, 25,000. Who knows? But it will all end just like 2008 and make it look like a church picnic. And these liberals always like to get on board at that given point in time. We will be engaged in a new war. We will be involved with the next great war, what I believe is already here and has already started. Whether or not you call it a global war or World War III doesn't really matter. You'll be on board because, as liberals always tell me, Christopher, things change. September 11th hit, so of course they had to do the Patriot Act. Of course they had to take our freedom away. The stock market crashed due to the policies implemented by Washington and Wall Street. They were the responsible parties, just like a CEO destroying a company and sending it into bankruptcy. So, of course, since the situation changed, then the liberals have to get on board with the bailout. When do the liberals see it's these people? And it's not Democrat or Republican specific. It's these people, Republican and Democrats alike. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them in power. And it's bigger than the two-party system. These people are responsible for driving the United States, the equivalent of the Titanic, into an iceberg. And when they destroy our liberty and they destroy our freedom, when they destroy our livelihood, they deserve to pay the consequence of that. Just like if I hired a CEO to run AMTV and he bankrupted our grassroots organization in a year or less, I would fire his ass and send his stupid, incompetent ass to the curb. But these people will reelect these cripples. They'll reelect these criminals. Go, oh, yeah, Hillary Clinton's for the gays now because she flip-flopped on the issue, so I'm going to vote for her dumb ass and make it a social campaign issue. Let's smoke a little bit more pot. Nothing against pot. Let's smoke a little bit more pot. Get on the constant, droned-out drum, feed myself the drug of the establishment. And I don't want to know the truth. These people are criminals. These people make me sick. And they deserve to pay the price for their actions. In the olden days, imagine what our founding fathers would have done to these people. Again, the same generation that sold the idea and implemented on the idea, we're going to go kick some great British ass. Because we don't like being taken over. We don't like kings and queens. Great show today, very heated. I'll get the archive up. I'm Christopher Green, hard-hitting and in your face. Please share it everywhere. Thanks for the call, and I will talk to you all soon. Peace.